All right, let's dive into one of the most incredible urban transformations in, well, maybe all of human history. We're talking about the story of Dubai, how a tiny patch of desert sand became this glittering city of the future.
I mean, just look at this. It's night and day. 70 years ago, this was a place with no electricity, no real roads to speak of, and an economy that was pretty much on life support. Fast forward to today, and it's a city of gleaming glass towers, plans for flying taxis, and, oh yeah, the world's tallest building. The change is so extreme, it almost doesn't seem real.
So, the big question is, how did the impossible happen? Now, the easy answer everyone gives is oil. But you know what? That's not the real story. Not even close. In fact, oil is just a tiny piece of the puzzle. The real story is about vision, about taking massive risks, and about a wild belief that you can build a paradise in the middle of nowhere.
To really understand Dubai's rise, we've got to go back to the beginning. And the beginning was, to put it mildly, a constant, brutal struggle for survival.
So the Maktoum tribe gets things started way back in 1833. For a while, things were okay. Pretty stable, especially with British protection from pirates. But then, bam, disaster strikes. In the 1930s, Japan invents artificial pearls. And just like that, Dubai's entire economy, its main source of income, was completely wiped out, gone.
And life became incredibly difficult. We're talking about people living in simple huts made from palm leaves. No modern anything. Water had to be pulled up from wells, and the diet was as basic as it gets. It was a true survivalist existence. But right in the middle of all this hardship, a leader emerges with this incredibly powerful vision. Sheikh Rashid bin Saeed Al Maktoum. And this quote? It captures his philosophy perfectly. He knew that ideas, not oil, were the real currency. He believed that if you build something amazing, the world will beat a path to your door.
And that belief wasn't just talk, it turned into a concrete plan. Sheikh Rashid basically became the architect of modern Dubai, putting these visionary ideas into motion long before anyone else even saw an ounce of potential.
Now this part is absolutely crucial. These projects happened before oil was a big deal. Sheikh Rashid's first move was a massive gamble. He borrowed a ton of money to dredge the Dubai Creek, making it deep enough for big trading ships. People thought he was crazy, but it worked, and trade just exploded. Then he built the real foundations, roads, schools, utilities, prepping the ground for a prosperity that, at the time, was still just a dream. Then, in 1966, they finally discovered oil. But, and this is a huge but, look at this chart. It tells the whole story. Compared to its neighbor Abu Dhabi, Dubai had just a few drops. This forced them to think completely differently. They knew the oil wasn't going to last, so it couldn't be the endgame. It had to be a tool.
So the really important part is how they used that little bit of oil money. It wasn't spent on palaces or flashy luxuries. Nope. Every single drop was reinvested into projects that would build an economy for after the oil ran out. A modern port, a new bridge, a bigger airport, and, most importantly, schools and hospitals. They invested in their people.
This was another absolute game changer. The creation of the United Arab Emirates in 1971. It was this incredible partnership that combined Abu Dhabi's massive oil wealth with Dubai's visionary, trade-focused engine. Together, they could both surge forward like never before.
Okay, so the foundation is set, the UAE's formed. Now, Dubai starts making a series of huge, audacious bets. The kind of moves designed to forge a global brand and plant a flag firmly on the world map.
And this quote just sums up the whole next phase. Sheikh Rashid decides to build Jebel Ali Port, the world's largest man-made harbor, literally in the middle of the desert. People laughed out loud, asking, "Who's going to come here?" His answers showed he was playing a completely different game, thinking decades ahead. And right next to that giant port was another stroke of genius, the Jebel Ali Free Zone. They made an offer that global businesses just couldn't refuse: 100% foreign ownership, zero corporate tax, and no import or export duties. It was a magnet. Thousands of companies flooded in, turning Dubai into the undisputed business capital of the entire Middle East.
You think building a port in the desert was bold? This was next level. In 1985, they launched a global airline, Emirates, with just 2 planes that were leasing. The goal was simple but insane: connect Dubai directly to the rest of the world. It was a massive risk that paid off spectacularly. And then came the era of the icons, the projects that made the whole world sit up and take notice. Starting with this number, 828 meters. That's over 2,700 feet. Of course, we're talking about the Burj Khalifa. But see, this building was never just about being the tallest. It was a symbol. It was a massive, shining statement to the entire planet that in Dubai, the word impossible just isn't in their vocabulary.
And this is just a brilliant example of their problem solving. Dubai had a problem, not enough coastline for all the beachfront property they wanted. Their solution? Just build more coastline. The Palm Jumeirah is a man-made island, you can see it from space, that created incredible value literally out of the sea.
This relentless ambition, it hasn't stopped for a second. Dubai has just kept on engineering its future, pushing through major global crises, and always setting its sights even higher.
You know, Dubai's story isn't just about success, it's also about resilience. It got hit hard by the 2008 financial crisis, but it adapted and recovered. It pulled off one of the world's best responses to the pandemic, then hosted a massively successful World Expo. And they're not done. The 2040 Master Plan is all about becoming the best city on Earth to actually live in.
So, what's the takeaway from this incredible story? Well, the lessons are pretty profound. Your starting point doesn't have to be your destiny. Thinking 50 years ahead is a superpower. You have to invest in people. When a crisis hits, you adapt. And maybe the biggest one of all, don't just copy what everyone else is doing. Surprise them.
And trust me, this story is far from over. Dubai's next chapter sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. We're talking flying taxis, a mission to Mars, and a goal to become the world's #1 hub for talent and new ideas. They built the tallest building on Earth. Now they're literally aiming for the stars.
Which leaves us with one last really powerful question. The story of Dubai shows us that with enough vision, belief, and just relentless hard work, you can turn sand into a city of skyscrapers. So, if a city can rise from the desert, what can you build from your own?